You need to have some way of solving simultaneous equations for more than one unknown. So in this case, I've got an example up here with 3 equations and 3 unknowns. If you had 4 unknowns, you'd have 4 equations, 5 unknowns, 5 equations, 6 unknowns. You get the idea. In this case, I'm using 3 currents, I1, I2, and I3. And they could come from my formulas that I just used previously in one of the prior examples. Or I could have a current, a voltage, and a resistance, or a current and 2 separate voltages from 2 different batteries. It doesn't really matter. You don't always have to use all the currents. You just got to keep your work organized. This method is going to use something called the reduced row echelon form. It's a certain function of linear algebra that can be available on the calculator. Specifically, these instructions are going to be for the TI-83, 83 plus, 84, and 84 plus. The first thing to do is to rewrite the equations such that the variables are only on one side in columns and the answers are after the equality signs. So we're going to have our coefficients matrix essentially. That's going to be the I1, I2, and I3. So I'm going to rewrite my equations so all the I1s appear in one column, all the I2s appear in the second column, all the I3s in the third column, and then they're going to be equal to just a number, so there's no variable on the other side of the equality sign. Now here are all the screens that you're going to be using and the different commands. So I'm going to read out what it says. If you understand what's going on, it's going to be rather boring, but if you're on the iPod, you can at least see what's going on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the matrix button on my calculator and I'm going to choose edit. And this is the screen that pops up there, the one on the top left. I'm going to make my matrix a 3 by 4 matrix. So I'm going to make it 3 rows and 4 columns. So that's because of the way it was set up in the prior example. Then I'm just going to enter my values. Now in the screenshot, what's not shown are the numbers that are in the 4th column because the screen wasn't wide enough. Then I go to look at the top right hand screen and I'll go back and select matrix and then choose math. And from this menu I'm going to go ahead and try to find rref, the command. In this case if I press the letter B I'll eventually get to it. But you may have to scroll down a ways before you get to rref. Then I'm going to select my matrix and choose names so I can pick my matrix. And now on my command screen it's going to say rref and then it will have the name of the matrix. When I press enter it's going to give me my answers. And so in this case my answers, it's going to tell me that 1 times I1 is equal to negative 0.07142. 1 times I2, that is the variable I had in the second column, is equal to 0.6425 or 2857. And then in the third column, that was I3, it's going to tell me that 1 times I3 is equal to negative 0.71428. If you get a dimension mismatch or you get some undefined statement, chances are you may have entered your data wrong or your matrix wrong, or back in your earlier equations you may have something wrong with one of your equations. They may be too closely related and they won't work, and so you might need a new equation, or just look at it and make sure you got the pluses and minuses in the right place.